Warning, the following video has not been approved by the Comic Code Authority and is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The.Comic.Assassin. It's Monday. This is the day where I normally drop some news for you guys. But you all know what books I think you might want to be keeping your eye out for on New Comic Book Day, which is this upcoming March 11th, 2020. But first, I have to share something with you guys. Look at this precious little thing. This is a baby rabbit. And I'm not going to hold it long because it wants to be all cuddled up in the dark. But I had to pull at your heartstrings just a little bit. Just a little bit. First thing. There you go. There you go. So a little backstory about that. My father-in-law has a dog. Good hunting dog, even though they don't use it for hunting. But it's got a nose like you would never believe. Found this rabbit's nest. Luckily, my father-in-law was able to get to it in time where these guys did not meet their ultimate fate. So we're going to try to take care of them. Hopefully just for a few weeks when they're old enough to be released back out in the wild. But yeah, don't those guys pull at your heartstrings just a little bit? I mean, they're so freaking cute. But there's not a lot of news going out this week. At least I didn't delve too much into some of the news. I know there's some stuff out there. So I wanted to take the time to do just a very, very quick review on 3 different books, and then I'll let you know what books I'm going to be picking up this week. The first one is Mercy, #1, and this is on Lethe. Right, and this is this is an Image book. So the artist is also the one who did the writing, which I always respect if you do both of them. It was actually a pretty interesting book. Basically, it starts off where, there's, I guess this family owns this mine, and this crazy explosion / accident happened in this mine, and it kind of put a little bit of a disdain towards this family. I guess this family has a lot of money, they're well known, but years later they come and they do a tribute. So they're all here at the cemetery. They put up this statue, just paying tribute to all those who died. And there's a lot of other backstory. Basically, a lot of people, after this explosion, this family's name kind of was put through the ringer a little bit. The artwork's really good. I really like this artwork. So there's a lot of backstory. So I'm going to go through this kind of quick, but there's this guy and this woman riding into town. And here's the guy, and here's the woman. And it's really weird. Like, you don't know the way that she's acting, like the way he's holding her right here, like here, you need to look like this. Like, you can't tell if she's a real person. Like, is it something that was, maybe she was dead and reanimated? Is she a robot, or is she something completely different? Right, but she doesn't seem like she's all human. But anyway, they go in there, and a lot of the backstory deals with this little girl. And basically, she lives kind of like in an orphanage type of thing. Like, this guy brought her in, but he brings all these kids in to basically run them like slaves. Right, it's kind of like a sweatshop. And he's like, get back to work, blah blah blah. So there's that backstory. But basically, this dude had dissed one of the main ladies, like the one of the wealthy ones I was talking about, the one that's family owned that mine. Dissed her in public, and so while he's in a whorehouse, like literally, him and his buddy literally ran a train on this girl. She walks in there and she's like, I didn't like the way you talked to me in public, and she gets her goons out on him. Right, and she takes justice. So yeah, there is some sexual content in this book, a little bit of brief nudity. But basically, she goes back home and she stays there at the brothel, and apparently she owns the brothel as well. And she's got her goons, her bodyguards. They're like, we'll stay outside, we'll make sure everything's good. And she starts having this nightmare. And I think this has something to do with the mine explosion, even though it's not quite clear yet. But she's having this I guess, probably a reoccurring nightmare. And all of a sudden, that guy and that other girl ride up into town and like, hey, this is past curfew. So there's a curfew for some reason. We don't know why. They say, oh, I'm sorry, we're just here to do business. We're trying not to make it happen again. And basically, they show some of the aftermath of one of the other people they came across while they were traveling to town. And the dude got jacked up. All right, so don't know if she's a monster or if she's carrying some type of virus or what the deal is. And basically, that's how it ends. Overall, it was a really good book. It was interesting. I probably will pick up issue 2 because I would like to know more about what happened. The only thing with issues number 1, it definitely did enough to kind of bring me in to want more. But I kind of like some things be explained a little bit more. That's just me personally. But yeah, I definitely recommend Mercy number 1 as long as you're okay with, some subtle language, mild nudity, things of that nature. Mercy number 1. The second one, and this one I actually liked more than I thought I was going to like. I said I was going to buy issue number 1 without even wanting to buy an issue number 2. After reading issue 1, I'm all in, and that is Lethe, or Lethe. I still don't know how you pronounce it, but basically it is a new character. A person has the new powers of the Crow, and basically he works for, like a sideshow, like a freak sideshow, and basically his thing is he's called Null Narcos is his name, and basically he's on there because he can't feel pain. All right, so here's their skit right there. Here's this other one, Bengali, who's like the Tiger Woman. And basically, she just comes out there and slashes the hell out of him, right? But he can't feel pain. Do a great show. Really, really cool artwork, too. Like, really, I really dig the artwork. Anyway, it gets back to it. She's like, I'm sorry. She's helping, stitch him up and get him all bandaged up. I won't go too much into it, but basically, the ringleader, there's this whole backstory about in hell, there's these 5 rivers, and one of the rivers is called Lethe, or Lethe, I guess is where the name comes from. And basically, when the dead came there, they would drink from this river, and it would make them forget their past life. So, in the whole time in this book, he's kind of like, he's searching for himself, like who was he before, but he also doesn't want to know. So he's kind of like in a juggling act of trying to know, but also doesn't really want to know. And so you get the sense that he drank from that river, and that's why he can't remember who he was. But he's pretty certain, this woman, the ringleader, is pretty certain that he was probably dead at one point. He came back and he doesn't know who he was. Meanwhile, there is this other person or creature searching for him. So here we get a little snapshot of the crow. All right, there's a crow right there. Little guy's coming through the park trying to clean up, and he gets taken out. But let's see. So basically, there's a lot of the backstory. He finds some creepo out at one of his at Bengalese shindig. Oh man, there's not a good way to put that. So there's 2 different things going on at the same time. He finds a pervert pretty much out there trying to do a little peeping Tom in Bengalese trailer, while at the same time the guy who was searching for the crow shows up to camp. The boss lady, the ringleader, she gives him a talking to. She's trying to stand up for our new crow. And he emerges from the fire. So this is one of the protagonists right here. Don't really know much about him besides that, but the crow guy, he gets up there, he finds the pervert, he pretty much kicks the living hell out of him. And basically they wake up, the next day to find that, the the ringleader is sitting there. I don't know if she's dead. It seems like she might be dead, but she is sitting up, but her eyes have been taken out. Right? So pretty gnarly. But yeah, I thought this was definitely more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. So I'm definitely going to pick up issue number 2. I recommend it, especially if you like the Crow series from before. The third one, this one comes from Boom Studios, and that is King of Nowhere, number 1. And this is cover C, and the story starts off really kind of crazy. That he wakes up basically in like the outskirts of this town, and let me start from page number 1. On the outskirts of town, and basically he's like, you know what? Why am I always waking up in all these places? Like, why can't I ever just wake up in bed? And apparently he goes out and he gets, pretty trashed every night. And yeah, so he wakes up, outskirts of town, doesn't really think much of it until the first person he sees is this guy. So a dude with a deer head. And he's like, okay, so apparently I'm on an acid trip. And that's what he thinks. He really thinks that, like, I must have doped up on some LSD. I'm on an acid trip right now. And so he goes into town, he finds a bar, and he's like, oh, thank God. And, like, look at all these characters, man. Oh, bunch of different people. The bartender, his face is upside down. This fish guy is like, hey, buddy, do you mind buying me a drink? And the whole time he's like being so nonchalant and cool about it. He's like, you know what? I know I'm tripping. I'm just going to roll with it. And, he talks about, like, I know you're just like a figment of my imagination. I know none of this is real. And they're like, oh, okay, whatever you say. Right? Basically, these goons come in. They grab the fish guy. I guess they have some beef. They start kicking his butt in the parking lot. And he's like, you know what? Okay, here I am. I just bought a fish a drink. He just got carried off by a guy with 6 arms. Why not? So he goes out there, he fights the dude, he saves the fish guy, and then the sheriff is like, hey boys, y'all done yet? Takes our character into the station. He's talking to him when he gets some bad news that there's some riffraff going on the outskirts of town. And the sheriff's like, hey man, do you know how to shoot a gun? Right? So you're a stranger, you were just fighting, hey, you want a gun? You want to help out? Right? And the guy's like, yeah, why not? Right? He thinks this is all a big acid trip. Anyway, they go out there, and there's these huge iguanas that they start fighting, right? And they drive them away and everything else. There's a lot of other cool dialogue in this book. I'm just trying to quickly go through it. But it gets towards the end of the book. Remember our deer guy that he first saw? Apparently his name was John Doe. Go figure. And there's this guy sitting in the middle of the road, or staying in the middle of the road, and he gets out of his truck. He's like, hey guy, you're blocking my way. And he takes out a picture, and he shows him a picture of our main character. He's like, hey, have you ever seen this guy? And he's like, come to think about it, I don't think I have. And the guy's holding a nail gun and shoots a nail right through this guy's mouth. Right? So he's looking for this guy for some reason. And that's how it ends. And I'm going to tell you, I really, really enjoyed this book. It seems like a very original concept. I love the writing. I love some of the character development. The artwork was really, really awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I really dig this. I really recommend King of Nowhere to everybody who might be interested in this kind of themed comic. So yeah, Boom's coming out with some good stuff, man. They really are. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I know I went faster than I normally do with my comic book reviews, but I want to tell you guys what books are coming out this week. And I'm actually happy because it's going to be a light week for me, but I still have to let you guys know what I think. Point some books out that might not be on your radar, might be on your radar. Of what's coming out. But yeah, I'm not buying a lot this week. I'm going to go ahead and tell you straight up. So first off, when it comes to indie books, Death of the Army of Darkness #2. And I just really like this Ben Oliver cover. This is a cover A. It's got the whole kind of, cutout mask type of thing. I always liked that kind of cover. I'm not going to buy it. I love Army of Darkness in that franchise, but I haven't really been into the comic version of that franchise. So, but yeah, I still thought it was an awesome cover, so I had to give it some love here. Sweetheart #1, and this is from was it Danger Zone? Danger Zone Comics. This has got a pretty interesting comic or premise, and I believe cover B, the one I'm showing here, is already sold out on Midtown. Basically, it's a town that is it's known that monsters are there preying on its citizens. Right? It's a common thing, but they set up the city in a way that kind of gives people more comfort and a little bit more safety in the process. And things start going a little bit awry for one particular person who's getting hunted down. So it seems like it might be a pretty cool book. All right, so I'm throwing that one out there. Stealth #1. This is from Image Comics. This is actually was created by Robert Kirkman and Mark Silvestri. This one has actually already been optioned, and I believe might already be in development. I don't know if it's for a TV or movie or what, but basically it's about a guy who he's been saving the streets of Detroit for years and years, for decades, but he's getting Alzheimer's. And the only person that knows about this guy is his son, who's a reporter. Now, I'm going to go on a limb here. And I might be wrong, but do you think the reporter takes on the reins, takes the reins from his dad and becomes a superhero, right? Have we ever heard about this before? Are there any reporters out there who become superheroes? I don't know. But it has been optioned, so there might be some hype about this book later on once it does hit the screen or the TV or whatever. So it might be one you might want to pick up. Decorum #1 from Image. This is a Jonathan Hickman book, and it seems kind of interesting. It's about talking about all these assassins, but apparently the main character is an assassin that has really, really good manners. Right? I don't know what that means, but apparently we have a very good-mannered assassin. Hey, you said assassin, I'm in all day long, baby. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. And then we have Reaver #7 coming out from Image. So this is a new story arc for Reaver. I really enjoyed the first story arc 1 through 6. If you enjoyed that part, then you might want to give #7 a chance, see where they're going to go now, what story direction they're going into. If you weren't able to get into that first story arc, this gives you a jumping off point to get into the Reaver book. And like I said, I really enjoyed Reaver 1 through 6. And so I'm definitely going to give #7 a chance. Going on to DC, honestly, I'm probably not going to buy a single thing. Honestly. There's hardly anything that I'm going to get from DC personally. But for the sake of you guys, we do have Hell Arisen #3, as well as Batman #89, second print, which is the cameo and first appearance of Punchline, or second print. So if you didn't get those first prints, this gives you the option of getting a copy of it. So they're both already sold out on Midtown. So if you see one, try to grab it, all right? Batman, one of the dollar books that they have, it's Death in the Family. It was Batman 428. It's the one that has Robin on the cover. Very sought after book. So if you want the book for the read, you can get it for $1. Throwing that out there. Also, Batman's Grave, Ji-Hung Lee. I don't read this series. I actually haven't heard a lot of good things about this series. I'm just pointing out because this is actually a really good Lee cover. All right, I like the Batman, kind of stoic looking. You got the Batarang and everything else. So, yeah, I'm doing this one for cover alone. But then they have Dollhouse #5. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about Dollhouse. I read the first issue. I didn't really keep up with it, but I've heard a lot of good things. It was a series that I could see myself following. So this is one that I might pick up. But if you haven't been reading the other issues, it might be a weird place to jump in. But yeah, like I said, not a lot of stuff coming out from DC that I'm too impressed with this week. And I can say almost the same thing from Marvel. But they do have a few #1s and stuff coming out. We have Cable #1 coming out. So this is all, it ties in the whole Dawn of X type of thing. So it's not a bad looking cover. Might be one worth picking up. Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality number 4. And this has been a pretty good read. It's been interesting. I really, really like the cover C, the Philip Tan cover, regular cover price. You know, I got the sweet, Spider-Man in the black costume and Hobgoblin in the background. That's the one that I would be going after if I was to pick up this book. So yeah, I'm throwing that one out there. Of course, Venom number 24. I'm not super impressed with this cover, to be honest with you. But it's already one that's on my pull list, so I'm picking it up. Yeah, the Mark Bagley, I like the whole Venom and Carnage kind of wrapping around, fighting over Eddie Brock. But yeah, I've seen better Bagley covers. Submariner, Marvel Snapshot number 1. I'm not the hugest Submariner fan. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. But I really like this cover. If you are a Submariner fan, this might be a good book for you guys. I think Alex Ross did a really good job with this cover. So there you go. We got a new number 1 for Submariner, trying to bring back that Submariner love. Also, we have a signed book that you can get at Midtown right now. So Marvel's X number 1, signed by Jim Kruger. You can get 4 cover price, $4.99. So if you wanted to get Marvel's X and wasn't able to, or if you want to get Marvel's X signed by Jim Kruger, who is one of the co-writers on this book, you can get it for cover price right now through Midtown. But another one, it's a definite for me, Immortal Hulk number 32. Right? And I have to tell you something. When I saw this cover at first, I was not sure what I was looking at. Right? I thought that I was looking at a female Abominable Snowman stripper. Right? Because whatever those 2 red things, they look like abominable snow boobies. Right? They look like abominable snow boobies, and it doesn't help that there's a dollar bill like right there by it, like someone's trying to pay this abominable snow thing to show their boobies. Right? That is what my mind thought first thing. I did like how Alex Ross did the whole dollar bill though with the Hulk coming through. I thought was good. Other than that, it didn't really feel like a very much of an Alex Ross cover to me. But yeah, that, and I might be right. I don't know. I don't know what exactly I was looking at. I knew I was looking at a dollar bill and a thing that looked like snow boobies. Right? But it's definitely one worth reading. Let's check that out. One book I would stay away from this week, and that is the Marvel Tales Silver Surfer number 1. The cover is beautiful, though. The Inyuk Lee, beautiful Silver Surfer cover, but I try to tell people to stay away from these Marvel Tales because look how Marvel Tales were in the past, and Marvel Comics Presents, and things like that. They usually were like reprints, and this one is. It's a reprint of a few choice books back in the day. And I'm okay with reprints, but don't put a $6.99 price tag on it if it's nothing but reprinted stories. The cover's sweet, right? But I could take that $7 and probably buy a few of those issues. The originals. So you like I said, if anybody goes dollar bin diving, 50-cent diving, you find Marvel Tales in there a lot, and I don't see that being any different with these guys, right? Especially for reprints. If you're going to do a reprint, that's why I like the facsimiles, you get the old ads and stuff like that. But yeah, that's one that I would avoid. But hey, if you're so inclined, buy it. Buy what you guys like. Those are just some of my top picks for this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Which books are you going to be picking up? Did you happen to read any of those books that I did a little quick review of? And what did you think about them? All right. So with that being said, y'all, I hope all of you have a great week. All right. Stay patient, kind, and loving to one another. And when it comes to New Comic Book Day, the Comic Assassin is wishing all of y'all happy hunting. Peace.